Hello, my name is Brenda Heyward. This information you may view may need to be asked of a specialist. This video will highlight some of the minimum required paperwork needed when you decide to sell your home. The search is on for a great realtor. This video is called Home Seller Offers. This video will highlight additional information to your questions on what other information can be helpful and added to your need to know list. Viewers, I hope you brought your notebook and pencil. Sellers, a purchase offers form is the first step, and it lets you know that someone has thought about your home and has considered putting it an offer to buy. The purchase offers document is the form used as the first step from the buyer to let you know you may be moving soon. The purchase offer form is used as an agreement between the buyer and the seller that may come with amendments once the transaction moves forward towards the completion of the sale. The purchase offers in-depth details that detail the identification and specifications of the property as well as the suggested price offer from the buyer to the seller of the house. The review helps you make you aware of the steps and the requirements for the seller and the buyer to assist in the completion of the transfer of your property. Sellers, when you get a sales agreement from the buyer, the agreement will contain information from the buyers to the sellers. Once completed, the added information will contain the asking price for the home, the items of the purchase, the earnest money amount, the closing date, and any contingencies. The purchase contract must be agreed upon between the buyer and the seller before they can move forward with the sale of the property. The seller's real estate contingency is a clause that needs to be met before the real estate deal can close. A contingency removal is a document that shows the contingencies have been satisfied or removed from the contract in writing. For example, if the seller offers a certain price and the buyer said the price is fine, however, the contract purchase is continued upon the buyer's completing a home inspection. Another contingency could be that the loan is awarded to the buyers. Sellers, a home inspection report is a contingency that the buyers put in the contract, which gives them a chance to arrange for an inspector to come through your home and evaluate the house before the sale closes. A typical home inspection may take a few days for a regular sized house. However, then the report could take up to 3 to 4 days to complete. The home inspector goes through the interior and the exterior of your home. While doing this, they are recording all broken, defective, or hazardous items within the house and within the surrounding area of the house. The inspector drafts a home inspection report that could end up being at least 30 to 50 pages in length with pictures. The document details the current state of your home structure, the electrical system, plumbing, heating, fireplaces, and other areas found. A separate inspection will have to be done on the pool and the pests in your home and should be included in the paperwork done by the buyer if the home requires them. Sellers, as you review the purchase offer on your home and you find that the buyer is financing their loan to purchase your property, in order for a mortgage lender to approve the loan, they will require an appraisal to determine your home's fair market value. After the appraisal is completed, it will be returned in less than a week. Since you are the seller, you will not receive a copy of this. It's to the benefit of the buyer. However, you can request a copy and it could take up to 30 days' time. Sellers, however, if the appraiser comes back under the offer amount, your real estate agent will let you know the details right away. The report can range from a total of 10 to higher depending on the comparable properties. with photos and details of the properties found. The paperwork will also show the appraised value, how the appraiser determined the property value, and what factors the appraisal took in consideration to support their findings. Sellers, in the beginning, you will contact the title company along with your agent to assist with the process. However, near the end of the process, the title company may contact you to provide the most recent property tax receipts to calculate any and all outstanding property taxes owed on the house so that the buyers can get an estimate of the cost of the taxes for their new property closing. Also, sellers, just a heads up to whether the buyers have to pay property taxes at the time of the home transfers depends on the time of the year and the municipality real estate schedule. In some cities and towns, they collect taxes in the upcoming year. If the sale of the home is after you pay your taxes, you will get a refund. In some states, however, homeowners pay taxes in arrears, which means you are paying taxes at the time of period used up to the billing cycle. This means they are seeking unpaid taxes, and you will be responsible for paying them at the time of the closing table. However, you will not be responsible for the day of closing, the cost of them transferred to the buyers. Sellers, the title company will issue a seller closing statement when all of the buyer's contingencies are met, even after completing loan approval. This statement will show you how much money you will receive after accounting for closing costs, taxes, and other transaction fees on your home. The closing agent or title company will generate a closing statement. Sellers, do not forget the deed to the property. The deed, it is not to be confused with the title. The deed is a physical legal document that officially transfers ownership of the house from the seller to the buyer. The deed includes the identification of both parties as well as thorough description of the property that is being sold. Please bring your government issued license or passport. These documents will be copied as part of the file at signing. Sellers, this is just a heads up about the property transfer, and you probably need to file taxes. Taxes as a single individual, your capital gains exclusion is up to $250,000 at the net profit on the sale of your home, or up to $500,000 if you're filing jointly, so long as the criteria is met. Sellers, at this point, you will be jumping up and down at the completion of the signing of the closing paperwork. Remember to find an experienced real estate agent and dependent on the state trusted real estate attorney who can help you through the process. Please let me know if you like this video by clicking a thumbs up or leaving comments below. Also, if you have time, check out some of my other videos that may answer a few of your other questions. My name is Brenda Heyward, and thanks for the time.